So what are we going to do about this God stuff? This is the last of our films, and it's time for us to make some decisions. Here is Robin to help us.
I think the point of this final film is not just to talk about God, but to talk about ourselves, to be really personal and ask the big question, how do we make our mind up? How do we connect with this God? How do we re-engage with him? Watching telly, watching footy, earning money, spending money, building a house, getting a job, having a family. These are all important things, but surely there is more to life than all these things. I love them all, but I often think of them as being like a sort of a circle, and I wonder what is at the heart. Literally, what is at the heart of all the stuff in my life? Maybe that's where I need to connect with God. You see, the trouble with secularism, with living in a secular world which has forgotten about God, or lost contact with God, or moved on and become far too sophisticated to live God anymore, is that it's so shallow. It's so meaningless. And losing God, we also lose a big part of ourselves. I don't know if any of you have caught up with the latest Rolling Stones CD. It's the first one in years. It's absolutely brilliant. There's a great song on there in which Mick Jagger sings, I'm too young to die, but I'm too old to live. Well, you're not exactly too old to live, Mick, but you are getting near the point, so you need to get yourself sorted out. But what a thing to say about life. I'm too young to die, but I'm too old to really live. As a person who wears glasses, and if you wear glasses, you'll really get this. Sometime a few years ago, I was sitting in the opticians, and as you all know, the hardest part of the eye test is when he has a great big box full of different lenses, and he keeps saying, Mr. Gamble, is that better with or without? With or without? Does that look with or without? And halfway through, I lose the will to live because my eyes, and he keeps saying, is that better with or without? And I'm doing this, and I suddenly thought, I'm like that. I say to people, what about God? Is life better with God or without God? Would you rather take away God like everybody else, or do you think if you lived with God, that would help you to see better, to live better, to be better? Life with God, life at the heart of our circle of all our stuff. Is it better with God or without God? Or absolutely essential and wonderful and truly colourful with God?
So, what about me and God? Time to think my own thoughts about you, God. To break away from the crowd and to think what I think. Perhaps to knock on a door, to open a gate, or follow a path. To make a decision, ask a question, maybe to make a new beginning.
I wonder if you're thinking, oh yeah, Robin Gamble, well, he's a vicar man, so he's got all this God and all this belief all sorted out. End of story. Actually, it's not quite like that. I needed to have 4 attempts at really coming to God. The first three, I just flopped out on them. It was only when I got into really quite a lot of trouble. It wasn't so much that I was reaching out to him, but that he reached in to me. That was many years ago. And as I've lived my life following and believing in this God, I've also gone through times of real doubt, really struggled. Is he there? Does he know me? Can he see me? Is he helping me? Is there really a heaven to go to? And throughout all these times of doubt, I've just had to struggle and look afresh and reach out afresh and to rediscover. Yes, he is there. And he knows that I'm here. And yes, there is a doorway to heaven. There is a pathway to follow. There is a place to build my life upon. Jesus said, I came that you might have life and life in abundance. It was that word of his which really drew me to God. Anyway, enough about me. What about all of us? I talk to loads of people about God, and I sort of tend to put people into one of three brackets. So, time for a visual aid. I love a visual aid, and the simpler, the better. So here are my three brackets. I talk to loads of people about God, and I really work at it, but I just find there's nothing there. They're empty. They're empty. They've got a brain and a heart just like everybody else, but it's as if they don't do God, or they don't want to do God. Maybe you watched all these films and at the end of it you thought, oh, that was quite interesting, but I don't do God. In complete contrast to the empty one, I love it when I experience the very full ones who have got great, big, strong rocks of faith and hope. And I like to think of myself as being a very, very full one. But I still want to find out more of him. And then what really often intrigues me are the ones in the middle. They're not empty. There's something of God swirling around inside them, but not that much. But they would like it to be a little bit more. I often come across people like this, and we talk, and we'll often pray and read the Bible, and maybe as you've been watching these films, you think, actually, I'm one of them. Yeah, I've sort of got it a bit, or quite a bit, but I would like to get it some more. You know, when we make space in our brain, in our intellect, in our heavy thinking, and in our heart, in our feeling, in our experiencing, in our emotions, when we make space in our soul, so that God can come in, touch our heart, fill our heart, then something remarkable begins to happen. We begin to come fully alive, to live that life of abundance. And perhaps the most important thing in the whole of these 5 films is when I right now encourage every one of us to let more and more of this great God into our